And here we go. Welcome, guys. Today we are talking about Game of Thrones. Yes, we will be speaking actually about how do we command Game of Thrones more specifically. How does the characters of the series, some of them, actually manage to keep running things on his favor? Having that said, first thing, of course, is ask you to introduce yourselves. Please say your name, your age, where do you study, and what do you study? Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start. Uh, Hi everyone, my name is Giselle Vidal. I'm 18 years old. I'm studying at Neustadt University and I'm studying business administration of design.
All right, good. Who's next?
Hi guys, I am Carlos Duque. I am 21 years old and study medicine at UCB. Hi.
Good. Welcome, Carlos. Who's next?
I
Uh,
guess. Okay, go ahead.
you can talk, you can talk. I'll wait.
No, go ahead. You go first.
Okay,
Come
so,
on. Somebody say something.
okay. My name is Julia. I'm 19, I'm studying medicine at UCB. Like, kind of sadly, Carlos is my classmate every day.
Yeah, and your boyfriend's best friend.
Like a nightmare, right?
Well,
Okay,
good.
I think I
Yeah, you can go
go
now.
next. Okay. Well, my name is Moises Moron. I'm 19 years old. I study at the Universidad Metropolitana and I study economics. And that's it.
Okay, hi, I am Samuel Malaver. I study mechanical engineering at UCB, and I am 23 years old.
Hi guys, my name is Tiffany Padron. I'm 23 years old and I studied economics at the UCV.
Good, good. I think those are all. I think nobody's missing. No, nobody's missing. Well, so my name is Mariano M. Puigver. I'm sure you already know that because I'm probably the most infamous person in ABBA. What the hell? The thing is, we're going to speak today about how do we command the Game of Thrones. Now, what have you known, or, well, let's ask something else. What is your favorite character from Game of Thrones? Let's start there. That is a good start. Who wants to speak?
Well, my favorite character from Game of Thrones is Daenerys.
Daenerys. All
Yep.
right.
And also the House of Targaryen is my favorite.
Why do you like Daenerys?
I don't know, I think she's cool and also she has the kind of leadership that I like.
Yeah, the kind of leadership that basically consists in burn them and all. No?
Yep.
Good. We already know that. All right. Who wants to speak aside? Who else? Who else? Come on. Give me your favorite characters.
That's actually a really hard question. But I may have to say maybe the Stark sisters, both of them. Like they have grown so much uh, in Loyalty series, and you get to hate them at some point. But by TM, like for now, like for the last chapter, you're like, wow, they're just finally making it, and it's like they've gone a lot, and you can kind of relate at some points with them. It's like a
Well,
really huge, many feelings you have towards them through these areas.
I must have no feelings at all because I actually find them boring. What the hell? Who else?
Hi. Hi. If I have to choose a character, I have to say Tyrion Lannister.
The hemp. Why? Why the hemp?
Man, he's incredible. He's a dwarf. He's is his father hate him. His brother hate him. His sister hate him. Um, his dwarf is um ugly in books is so ugly. He's a fucking crack. He's incredible. He commands the aside and he take a barbarian. I don't know. It's incredible, Tyrion.
Yeah, we kind of noticed you have a crush on him. Good. Who's next? Who wants to speak also about his character? Tyrion is actually a quite good one, by the way. I like him. I like Daenerys too, but Tyrion is a bit more sophisticated.
Well, I haven't seen the series, but I think I have heard a lot about Tyrion. I know that he's a very intelligent character, and I know that he he knows how to take advantage in difficult situations. So for me, and he knows how to manipulate people. And well, that's I think that that's very interesting. So I'm gonna say that he's my character.
Tell me, Samuel, do you like to manipulate people too?
No, but I like understand people. That's the part that I like.
Right. How polite and politically correct answer. Very well. Who's next?
I guess I'm next, and I don't know anything about Game of Thrones. So
Traitor. Very well. I can spare you from this. Nobody is missing, right? Everyone has already spoken.
Now, I'm the last one. In my
All right.
case, because it's been a while since I saw Game of Thrones, uh, I can like point with a finger which one I like the most. But I don't know, maybe to say somebody, the sister of Jon Snow that I don't remember the name, Arya, I think, the little one. I don't remember the name right now.
All right. Arya, you mean the little one of the Starks? Arya.
Yeah,
Yes, Arya.
yeah, I like her. I like her braveness and how intelligent she is.
All right. All right. Very well. So we have already spoken about characters. I'm gonna tell you which one is my favorite, which is Tywin Lannister, is Tyrion's father. I kind of love this guy. I want to be like him when I'm older. Actually, having that said, let's begin with the videos, which is the most funniest part of this chat. You're going to start clicking the link number 1. Click it, you watch the video, and then we comment on it. Everything understood?
Yep.
Go ahead.
too much time worrying about what other people think of you.
Less what anyone thinks.
That's what you want. The truth. When you hear them whispering Kingslayer behind your back, doesn't it bother you? Of course. Mine doesn't deserve it, but the sheep. Suppose I should be grateful that your vanity got in the way of your recklessness. Giving you half of our forces, 30,000 men. We'll bring the cattle in Stark's girlhood home. Remind her that Lannisters pay their debts.
You realize that you have value in life.
He's a Lannister. I'd be the lowest of the Lannisters within one of us. And every day that he remains a prisoner, the less our name commands respect.
Well, the line does concern himself with the opinions.
No, that's not an opinion. It's a fact. If another house can see one of our own and hold him captive with impunity, we are no longer a house to be feared. Your mother's dead. How long I'll be dead? And you, and your brother, and your sister, and all of their children. All of us dead, all of us rotting on the ground. Family name that lives on. It's all that lives on. Not your personal glory, not your honor, but family. You understand? You're blessed with abilities that few men possess. You're blessed to belong to the most powerful family in the kingdoms. And you're still blessed with youth. What have you done with these blessings? Served as a glorified bodyguard for two kings. One a madman, the other a drunk. The future of our family will be determined in these next few months. We could establish a dynasty that will last 1,000 years. Or we could collapse into nothing, as the Targaryens did. I need you to become the man you're always meant to be. Not next year, not tomorrow.
Very well, guys. So I already finished watching the video. Is everyone ready, or do you need a little bit more time?
I just finished.
Good.
I'm done.
I'm ready.
Me too.
Good. Who wants to start? Who is commanding this scene?
Obviously, Tywin.
And why he is commanding the scene, Julia?
Jamie is always Jamie's not really like the one who commands any many of scenes, and also he thinks he has a very high value on what his father says, even if it bothers him. So he's very fond of what his father says, and it affects him a lot. And just saying like you're not doing it right, James is right.
All right, so you're rescuing the fact that his father has a personal level of authority over him because he's his father.
Yes. Not only his father, but the way like he looks up to him, but maybe other children. And for example, Tyrion, who is also affected by what his father says, is not that affected because he tries to go the other side to what his father thinks. But he's very, very fun and he's actually a follower of his father. So that's why it affects him that much.
Interesting. Who agrees with Julia? Who has something else to add? Who wants to say, Julia, you're not right? I don't know. Everything is valid.
Well, I want to say, Julia, you are right. I don't know the name of the characters, but the guy with the knife, the old man, is like pointing the positive things of the other guy. It's like saying, "Man, you have this, this, this. You can use it for do the for to impose character." And well, he's like guiding the way that the yeoman has have to follow.
Oh,
Hi.
You may doubt.
Okay. Now,
We're waiting.
I agree with Julia because in this scene is Tywin the stronger character because or the strongest because I think that he is teaching his son about what is family, what is honor, um, well, his honor, what is war, what is King's Landing, what is the Seven Kingdoms, and why is the Lannister family most powerful or almost the most powerful family in the Seven Kingdoms. It's like okay, you can do it that you want, but for one moment, think one thing: uh, we can live forever, or we can die like family today. I don't know. It's cool. It's Tywin. It's cool.
I find actually quite amusing the fact that Carlos is always trying to make a point, and then he says, I don't know, he's just cool. All right, let's
okay.
see. Moises, you're going to speak.
Okay, I agree with my friends. I think the old man with the knife is the leader in this situation because he's giving some advices to his son. I see, and or telling him what to do with all the power he has and what should do, and all the importance are how important are the decisions that he has to make for the wellness of his family and the people that is under him. So that's it.
Okay.
Actually, I think that I like Tywin. Like he's one of the most uh, cool characters. He's like the coolest character because he's like strong and his personality is kind of difficult. But in this scene, he's just talking to Jamie. The things that he would do if he would have uh, the things that Jamie has. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but that's what I think. And like he's giving advices from his point of view. Like he never asked what Jamie would like to do. He just imposed himself, and that's all. You know.
Very well. In fact, I'm going to well, the joke of this is actually we watched the whole videos before start throwing conclusions, but I'm gonna point out something important here. Tywin never asks for anything. Tywin always uses the word will. You will do this, you will do that, you will become the man I need you to be. And he actually is, by the usage of this word, will, implying that you are going to actually fulfill his wishes. He's not asking, he's just demanding. And that is a
Exactly.
quite important thing to take in consideration when we are evaluating this character. Good with that one, Giselle. Let's go with the second link. Click and watch.
Os deseo fortuna en las guerras venideras.
I need a moment. My Gmail is loading. Sorry.
I'm actually realizing that the video is in Spanish, but never mind. Go ahead.
It's funny that the video is like in Spanish from Spain. It's like I
Yeah,
hate
in the
that.
Spaniard Spanish, the one that
It's
is
like-
talked back there in the peninsula.
De la casa Stark, señor de Invernalia y guardián de...
Si debes pelear, gana.
Se ha pasado media vida librando las guerras de Robert. No le debe nada.
Lord Eddard Stark, se nombraría mano del rey. Soy digno de ese honor.
Era un buen hombre. Era Stark. Ahora posa en algún lugar. Padre se pudre en un calabozo. ¿Cuánto tardarán en cortarle la cabeza?
Vuestro hermano mayor fue entrenado para mandar y vos para obedecer.
También me entrenaron para matar a mis enemigos, Alteza. Uno de nosotros sabía si volvería. Eres muy duro contigo mismo. Siempre lo has sido.
Si la noticia es cierta, los Lannister conspiran contra el trono. ¿Quién salvo vos puede proteger al rey?
¿Creéis que mi vida es tan preciosa para mí? Trocaría mi honor por unos años más de... ¡Convencida a este honorable necio!
¿Qué esperáis conseguir vos?
El rey me reclamó para servirlo y al reino. Y eso es lo que haré hasta que mande otra cosa.
No podéis ni ayudarlo ni cambiarlo. Hará lo que quiera, que es lo que siempre he hecho. Y luego vos recogeréis los pedazos. En el Juego de Tronos o ganas o mueres.
Se acerca el invierno. Sois mi último amigo.
Muchos os aman aún.
No puedo elegir.
Eso es lo que dicen los hombres cuando el honor los llama.
Ahora sois mano del rey y protector del reino. Todo el poder es vuestro, solo necesitáis extenderle la mano y tomarlo. ¿Qué lo mató?
La lealtad.
Good. Finish? Are ready?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Wait a minute. He's asking Carlos. All right. You have a minute.
Okay, I finished.
Good. So we just watched a video that is kind of summarizing of characters when it comes from Ned Stark. Ned Stark is one of the main characters in the first season of Game of Thrones. Now, I'm going to ask Samuel Samuel and Moises, because they're the two newies on the issue. What is the first impression you're getting from Ned Stark?
Well, it's a soldier, a great soldier. He's like born to do these kind of things. And well, when the duty is calling, well, he's always ready to answer. I think that is a very humble man, and well, he work a lot with honor, and that's something very interesting. That's something important from him. I in one I thought in Simon Bolivar, because in the part that when he's in the cave, that Bolivar said that he preferred more a dangerous freedom than a slavery relaxed. So I thought in that when I saw that scene.
Okay, interesting comparison. Let's see what Moises has to say about it.
Okay, I see that this guy is like one of the main fighters of the series, and I see that he uses a lot the word must. You must do this. The guy, for example, when he was in front of the little guy, and he told him that the person or the man that has to do something with the sword must do this. So I see that he is basically a leader, and he's always ready to fight for his people, for let's say his country, and well, that's it. He is basically one of the main men in this world.
All right. Well, guys, who wants to shatter the dreams of these two guys?
No, man.
I can do that.
Go ahead, please.
Well, is it a spoiler, right? Can I say it? Yes?
Yes, I don't care. Come on.
He dies in the first season.
In the
Because
very
of
first
his
season.
honor. I actually think that Arya said, Arya said that at the end of the video. She said that his honor kills him, or something like that. I don't really remember the words, but she said that. Actually, I like at the start, but I think that he never put like a balance between his family and the things that he has to do for his honor. I don't know if I'm explaining, but I think that he gave more importance to his honor instead of his family. I mean, if he wouldn't have done that, a lot of things wouldn't have happened.
All right. And now I have a question. In the previous video, we saw Tywin Lannister, and all of you, even Moises and Samuel, who haven't fully watched the series, agreed that the guy is pretty much a force to be reckoned with. Nobody questioned the single fact that he was leading. I'm asking you now if you think Ned Stark is a leadership figure and why.
Well, it depends. Not is leadership figure sometimes because people look up to him and like looking up to his honor, but that makes him someone vulnerable because since he doesn't inspire fear in that ambient that is really harsh, it makes him pretty much attackable. And when it comes up to someone who has a different authority or someone who goes to a different background and someone who is actually able and wanting to hurt you, not does not try to defend himself in a harsh way at first, and also he doesn't try to control the situation, but to just point out like you're not going to control me, and at that point with just Making that declaration instead of acting at first is what makes him vulnerable, attackable, and not a leader at that moment.
I think that it is interesting that if you think for a moment, he is winning. Okay, he is powerful. He commands the North. Uh, Robert died. He can win. He can, in first moment, he can attack Cersei Lannister, but no, he go or was or went. I don't know what is the word.
Went the other way.
Okay, to Cersei, um, try to help her. Okay, you need to go out to the city because your son is not Robert's son, is your brother's son. Um, okay, you are a bad woman, you are a very bad woman, but out to the city. Take your sons out to the city. Um, First mistake. In a second moment, he talked with Baelish. Baelish is what is the word for despreciable?
Despicable.
Okay, it's a despicable, uh, but many very smart character, and he trusts in Baelish for uh, find a solution for the first mistake. That is, I don't know. I think that Ned was very smart, very like Julia says, honorable character, but that um, uh, how says le costó.
It's hard for him to.
His life.
Yeah, well, it cost him his life. Yeah, I got the point.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, Tiffany.
Okay, so I agree with Carlos. I I like this character because he feels the need to follow his own values, to be honest with himself and with everyone else, and to be try to yeah to follow his own values that rule his life. But in the world of Game of Thrones, uh, what I've seen or in the world of us, if I'm honest, the world doesn't work that way. People aren't honest. People aren't uh yeah, it's not integral. Is like most of the well, part of the people don't follow their values like honesty or friendship or like I know you get my point, but trying to live in a world like that and trying to be yourself with those values, I think is a little naive of his part, trying to find solution and because it was in a place that uh, is challenged the power of the country, it makes a really risk move to do that or to try to negotiate with Cersei. So I really admire it, that character, but I think it was a little naive of his part, and that's the reason why, like Carlos said, it cost his life. So yeah, I think that's my opinion.
Good. Anyone
Okay.
else?
Yeah. Uh, Actually, you asked about his leadership or something like that, right?
Yeah, about whether he's a
Uh,
leader or not.
well, he's like you know that there's different type of leadership, and he
Of
has one.
course.
Uh, he's not like the demanding leader, but he's the one that asks you and like he gains. I don't know if that's the right word. Like your he knows what you need, and he uses that in his favor, like kind of that. But he gave more importance to the honor of the people more than I don't know, like the power, and trust a lot in people that he like he didn't know very well, like Baelish, that he was like a good person, but in real life he wasn't. And I think that the big mistake that Eddard Stark had was like a trust in people that he didn't know very well, and that makes made him vulnerable.
Good, good, very well. Now, we're going to watch one more video. We're going to have to skip one for timing issues. We're going to watch the link number 4, guys. Click and watch it. Very well. I'm already done. What about you guys?
I'm done.
I'm
1 minute
done.
and a half.
You may keep going. I have to
Okay,
say,
I'm ready.
are you right? I love this scene. It always brings me good memories.
Actually, that's one of my favorite scenes from the series.
What can I say? I actually think the whole way she managed the situation was quite clever, actually.
Yep.
Bro, it is so good. I'm thinking about watching Game
Watching
of
the
Thrones.
series. Exactly. Now you're starting to look like a proper boy. Go ahead.
I'm ready over here.
What?
I'm ready.
Very well. Are you done, Moises?
Yeah.
Good. What the hell just happened here? Can somebody explain to me?
Oh,
Well,
I,
okay, you can talk. I've talked a lot.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to explain what happened. What the hell just happened here? Okay, they were going to do a change, a trick, and what happened was that the girl, the blonde girl, the blonde hair girl, like she understood everything they were talking about, and after they made the change with the dragon and the thing that this guy the yeah, the guy, the bad guy gave her that stick, that gold stick. Well, uh, she becomes or revealed what she was doing, and then she killed, she basically killed this bad boy, this bad man, and made the army, or the army to join her files, and that's it.
All right. Now, can somebody tell me what traits of leadership do you see on Daenerys here? Is she exercising leadership? How is she doing it?
I can
Actually,
say something.
uh,
Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
She has like another kind of leadership, but the one that in this sense she like played her cards very well, and she knew exactly what she was going to do, what everything was going to be, and like she played everything. But also, I remember from a presentation of the CBA that was about Game of Thrones and the kind of leadership, and she has the kind of leadership that I don't know how to explain that, but it's like she gave freedom to the people that uh, doesn't don't have it, and then she used us if in like in favor they will follow her because she gave them their freedom. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but it's
Hmm.
something like that. Like I'm giving you something, but then I'm asking you if you want to follow me now that you're a free man, and if you want to follow me anywhere I go.
That sounds incredibly familiar. That presentation of the
Yep,
CVA was, by any chance, a final presentation you saw?
yep, yep.
from some former student, right?
Yep.
It was mine.
I don't remember, but I remember that it was like a year ago exactly because I remember that I finished my CBA courses on December last
Yep.
year, and
Yeah, yep.
that was showing us some presentations, and I remember the one from Game of Thrones that it was Tywin, it was Tyrion, it was Eddard, and Daenerys. And
Yep.
I remember that one of those characters had like another character, but in real life. And I remember
Yeah.
that Daenerys was like Chavez. I
Yep.
think that
It was mine.
yep,
The world is a tiny little place. You actually saw my final presentation at the CBA.
yep.
That's what came to be this chat actually.
I
Well,
I kind of thought that, but I just wanted to be surprised.
well, what can I say? Yeah, in fact, this is developed so you can actually start questioning whether the figures you're watching on this series are leaders and what type of leaders. Until
Yep.
now, the three videos we saw, actually, you have all pointed out that are leaders. You agree on that. Good. Now it's time to focus on what are the type of leaderships. Giselle just say that in my former presentation at the CBA, I point out that Daenerys was like Chavez. She is. She's a charismatic type of leadership. Is this type of figure who basically exercise power through charisma and through motivation. She does, she gives, then she requests. That's how this type of leadership works. And most of us actually have exercised the type of leadership at some point of your life. Now let me ask you, Chavez is a good example of that, but I'm sure you know many of them. Can you bring some example you know of this type of leadership in real
What
life? I
about
mean,
what about Hitler?
Hitler. Well,
I don't think so. I think Hitler was more like Tywin, like he kind of
yeah,
just
it,
inspired fear.
yeah, it goes the other way around. It is overwhelming, indeed, but it's not this type of leadership, although commonly people see Hitler as a charismatic leadership. But in leadership,
Oh,
charisma means basically to inspire people to do something on their free will, no instead of forcing them to. So that is the main difference. All right. Any other
Actually,
example?
I think like most of Venezuelan politicians are like this kind of leadership, you know.
Well,
Like,
yeah, until a certain point.
but of course there are differences between one and the other. But I think that is the only kind of leadership that we know, and as you said, we use it in our in our daily routine, even when we don't think about it.
Effectively, indeed. Most of the Venezuelan presidents have been charismatic leaderships. In fact, Carlos Andres Perez was a good example of this, by the way. And yeah, we tend to use it on a common basis, especially women actually are quite more often users of this type of leadership than men. It's one feature, by the way. Although it's a really interesting twist the fact that in Venezuela, most of, for not saying all, the presidents have been men. That is an interesting issue, but yeah, that's how it works. Now, going with Tywin. Tywin is another type of leadership we call autocratic leadership. A real life counterpart would be Vladimir Putin, for instance. These are tough guys, right? These are people who basically use fear, control, and and the ideal that they have a certain sense of entitlement to command in order to promote their causes. That is what Tywin is identified for. In fact, the whole use of the words he has, it's as I said before, deliberately, he speaks always in terms that you won't reject. He is parting from the very notion that you're going to effectively execute what he is actually requesting from you. he's commanding you. And that is something that several figures in history and real life has. For instance, Hitler. That is a good example as well. Any other example you can find?
From Taiwan?
Yeah, an autocratic type of leadership.
I think that Fidel Castro would be one. I don't know, but I think that he kind
Or
of
maybe our own Marco Perez Jimenez was also that kind of leader.
Both actually were that type of leadership effectively. Although Castro tend to be a mix, by the way, between charismatic and autocratic type of leadership. It depends. Sometimes he was predominantly one, and sometimes he was predominantly the other. It depends of the moment, but he was no doubt between those two.
And I want to mention maybe Osama bin Laden, because he used fear. He used fear to manage his people, I think.
But I have a question.
Well, yeah, that's true, Samuel. So it's a valid point.
I have a comment about Osama bin Laden.
All right, go ahead. Hold on, Moises. I promise you I'll
Okay.
give you the question. Go ahead.
Okay, don't worry.
It's a question in that case. Okay. Osama bin Laden is true in Occidental culture. Sorry. Infundir.
Spread fear.
Okay, spread here. Fear, exactly, spread fear about Occidental culture. But in Oriental culture, he's a leader because he is fighting or was fighting a war for the people, for the poor people that I don't know. It's a question because in his culture, in his country, in his army, he is a good leader. He is a good leader that fight for his people, or no?
Well, technically, not in his country. He was from Saudi Arabia. And actually, Saudi Arabia is not exactly a supporter of Islamic terrorism. But we do have to give something to Osama bin Laden, which is that he was a leader among the followers of the radical Islam. Now, what is the issue there? Fear can be used both ways. I mean that sometimes you can spread fear on your followers, but you can also spread fear over using other thing to make it. I mean, for instance, you can actually tell your followers, look, these guys are corrupting our society and they're going to destroy us. That's spreading fear, only that you're blaming someone else. That is exactly, for instance, what Hitler did with the Jewish people. So an autocratic leader nevertheless uses exactly that. Fear, whatever it's the way he uses, it's the main agent of his power. And that is something that identifies that type of leadership. And now you can ask Moises.
Okay, I have a question about. Okay, you say that Hitler is what type of leader is autocratic?
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You say that he uses that autocratic uses fear for make what they want, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, but Hitler uses fear against Jews, for example. But with Germans, he uses basically he promises something to Germany, like a pure. How can I say this?
A pure blood nation.
Yeah, exactly that. So.
All right.
He doesn't use fear with or against Germans, but he does it or he did it against his enemies like Jews and okay, the Occidental part of the world and etc.
Okay, I get your point. Nevertheless, the answer goes pretty much the same like the one I just gave to Carlos. Fear can be used both ways. Not only it's the fact that you can use fear to intimidate your enemies, you can also use fear to motivate your allies and followers. Because if your followers think something bad can happen if they don't move with you, that is fear as well, and that is a powerful motivation. In the case of Germany, they were fearing defeat overall, and that's why they wanted a pure blood nation. Take, for instance, the
Okay.
very same situation in another fictional world. In Harry Potter, you have Voldemort, and he is basically using the same method. To his enemies, he is spreading fear. And to his allies, he's motivating through the use of fear because he's telling them if these guys finish this whole war with they on control, we are going to be a minority oppressed by a majority of magicians that are basically running this show without our consent. That is fear as well. And yes, it can work as a
Okay.
motivation.
Okay. They use it as a tool for. Okay. Yeah. Right. I got it.
Very well. And now let's go with the last category. In what would it be? Ned Stark. Ned Stark is a very specific type of leadership. We call it democratic leadership or delegative or delegational leadership. Is this type of figure who basically doesn't give orders, he requests, doesn't demands compromise, he asks for compromise. And overall, they are basically the type of leaderships that in real life are quite morally orientated. A good example of this in real life, you have even Barack Obama, for instance, someone who basically put a high priority on morals, on ideals, and who tried to basically exercise power in a subtle and more soft approach way. Now, can you think or give me an example or any other type of leadership that fits this category?
I don't know if I can mention the Pope Francisco because
That's
he's
actually a good
always
example.
he's like always giving the correct politic answer for everything, and yes, he's always trying to listen the opinions of people.
I think that another example of this kind of leadership would be Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Very good one, actually. Now, go ahead.
I think that I haven't read a lot about him, but I know, and I think that his kind of leadership is just as you said that he's not like demanding you to do something, but he's like asking if you want to do that. Like he's a lot of he's democratic. Well, he was democratic, and I think that's all because I forgot the other part of that advice.
Very well, very well. Any other example, any other idea you have about this type of leadership?
I'll say pretty much any president that has like a good general impact, like a good general opinion from the public, like for example Trudeau, maybe many others of this kind.
Good. You know who else is this type of leadership? It's not from real life, it's from fiction, but it's actually one of the best examples of this type of leadership. Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter. He actually
Yeah,
he is, I mean, I don't know if you ever watch Harry Potter, you probably noticed that Dumbledore pretty much masterminded the whole issue against Voldemort, and yet he never gave a sole order in the whole saga. All the time he was asking for favors, and he was doing it in the most polite and totally inoffensive way possible. You will think of him like a grandfather, basically.
Yeah.
And yet, when he dies in the sixth movie, basically everyone comes to the point to say, all right, this guy was pretty much the most important of the whole side we have. And that is practically the definition of the delegating democratic figure of leadership. Because it's someone who, as long as they are in the exercising of authority, you don't see them to be so straightforward, and you might think that are quite inoffensive until some point. But when they're gone, that's when you notice the difference, which is, by the way, what is happening today with Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Just for pointing out that. So,
And
tell me, guys.
I want to mention another one in this category. I would say Lorenzo Mendoza, because I think he's not giving things to the people. He's like always saying, okay, let's work together. Let's do this together. He's like always trying to make the people grow and to make a better country.
Okay. By the way, the final thoughts about this would be basically that at some point, at some moment, we all have been the many types of leadership we just discussed. I mean, we all have times when we are true tyrants managing teams and problems and situations. We all have times when we are actually fairly democratic and delegated. And we have times when we are also a purely charismatic figure who is moving everything against a certain goal or in favor of a certain goal. We all have been there. And that is normal because there are not absolute types of leadership. We're not, I mean, it's not like Samuel is going to be always a tyrant and Moises is going to be always a democratic leadership. That doesn't work like that. You have moments. You have certain moments in your life and aspects in your life where you actually play one type of leadership or the other. And that is why we actually make so much work and put so much effort in classifying the leadership, because we need to learn where and when we use it. That has been all for now, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the chat. And, well, a couple of final issues. I'll be sending a form to you in this week. The ones who were with me in the past chat haven't received the form yet. I'm going to send it this week as well. And, well, answer a couple of questions you have there, and that will be all for you to actually fulfill this chat. Hope you have enjoyed it.
Don't worry. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.